Okay, let's now look at the control section. This control section is pretty much like the brain of Scratch. I said brain of Scratch because the code blocks that are in motion, looks, sound, pen are pretty much can be connected through the control codes. So as you see, the name of the section itself is called control because it pretty much goes and controls everything. So let us see what this control section has to offer in Scratch. Okay, to begin with, say for example here, when I say when the green flag is clicked, or this is the green flag when this is clicked, it will have the same effect as pressing enter. Okay, now we can do range of things when this green flag is pressed. We could make the cat move 10 steps, and we can also make it do many things at a time. I will say turn 15 degrees, and we can make him say hello for probably 2 seconds. He would go and say hello, and we can make him play a sound, and finally and we can also make him change his color. Actually, the color has gone here. Okay, change color effect by 25. And when it comes to the pen section, we can also say stamp the cat and move 100 steps. So it stamps itself there and then moves 100 steps. Alright, so as I said, from the control we're taking this code here, code block. When the green flag is pressed, all of these things going to happen in sequence. So first it moves 10 steps, then it turns to 15 degrees, then it says hello, then it plays the sound meow and changes its color by 25, stamps itself and moves to 100. Let's check this out. There we go. We'll retry that again. So it changed its color. I'll first of all go and say clear, and I'll say looks, set color effect to 0, which is pretty much this, and turn back to 15 degrees. Now let's go and see what's going to happen. So he moved 10 steps, turned 15 degrees, said hello for 2 seconds, and played the sound and changed the color effect by 25 and stamped himself and moved 100. As you see, we can't move this, we can move this. So that was with the first control statement. This will have the same effect even if I press enter. So that's what happened. Again, I'll go clear all of those effects now. I'll say clear and put the cat back in the normal position there and go back to the looks and set the color effect to 0 and make him face or make him turn 15 degrees, and he's now sitting there. Okay, I'll get rid of all of these codes now. Go back to control. Now we can make this cat perform a specific action based on what key is being pressed. Say for example here, when the up arrow is pressed, I would say change y by -50. Right? Actually, +50. I can right click and duplicate this. Rather than saying up arrow, I'll say down arrow. Then I'll say -50. then I would say, and again duplicating this, duplicate, and this time I'll say pressing right arrow key, rather than saying change y by -50, I'll delete this one here, and I'll say change x by 50, which means it's going to move towards right. And again duplicate this, and if you press the left arrow key, it moves by -50. Just to let you know how the stage is divided into, I'll go here, select a XY grid. See, this is how the stage is divided into 4 quadrants. So X increases this side, Y increases upwards, and Y decreases downwards, and X decreases to the left. So if I'm going to go play with this code here, I'll place the cat right in the middle, and I'll press the up arrow key, cat moves up, down arrow key, cat moves down, right arrow key, cat moves to right 50 steps each time, and left arrow key, as you see, it moves 50 steps back. So what we experimented just now is how to go and use these keys. So from the keyboard, so we just used up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, and left arrow, and we can set any action to it other than this. We tried to move it, but now I will say when A is pressed, we can also select all of these keys, whatever the keys that you wanted. You could go select all of these. For example, if I say when A is pressed, we would say go to the looks and change the color effect by 25. So I keep pressing A, its color keeps changing all the time. See that? And if I want to reset it, I can again say when R is pressed. For example, R for reset, I would say when R key is pressed, I would say clear the graphic effect, and the cat goes back to normal. I'll press R now. There we go. So if I keep pressing A, the color keeps changing. When I say R, it goes back to its original color. When I press up arrow, it moves up, down arrow down, right arrow to the right, and left arrow to left. So that is about the first 2 code blocks, when the green flag is pressed and when the space key is pressed. Now we can also set actions based on when the sprite 1 is clicked. Say for example, I'm going to use this, and let's make a funny code block here. So when the sprite 1 is clicked, I would go and say, I will make him say something for 2 seconds. You can say hello, but I would say, okay, why are you clicking me? Just ask a question. Right, so let's go click this sprite and see what happens. Okay, why are you clicking me? It says for 2 seconds. Okay, why are you clicking me? So when the sprite is clicked, it can perform this action, or you can even say the same effect here. I'll duplicate this one here, and each time you click the sprite, its color keeps changing. So that is with, as you see, all of these code blocks do not make no meaning all by themselves, but they do make meaning only if they are used with other code blocks from the other sections, such as motion, looks, sound, and pen. So now there's another interesting code block here which says wait for, you can make it wait for 1 second or 2 seconds. Say for example here, I'll say wait for 1 second when the sprite is clicked and then change the color effect. So once I click it, it doesn't happen. Say if I pressed A key, it happens straight away, but when I go and click the sprite one, it'll wait for 1 second and change the color. So after 1 second, it changes the color. But whereas in case of when I press A, I haven't used the wait here, and then so if I just press A, it straight away changes the color effect. And when you press R, it goes back to its normal effect. So that's about wait here. We're gonna look at this code here, which I would say is the most crucial code for the whole entire control section. While we say control itself is like the brain of Scratch, forever is the brain of control section itself. Say for example here, I said forever. I want this cat to rotate 360 degrees and keep rotating forever. To do that, what I would do here is I will say turn. It's going to spin at the same spot I said here, and I would want this forever to get executed whenever I press the enter key, or whenever I press the space bar, or when I click on the sprite itself. So I'm going to say when the space bar is clicked, what should happen? This sprite should be turning 1 degree, but guess what happens here is, since it's forever, it turns really very quickly. So I'll go press the space bar and it keeps turning like that. So you see it's turning now. So forever, it turns 1 degree, again it goes into a forever loop, and then it keeps turning. And if you want to make this turn slower, rather than calling it 0.1 degrees, I'll say, rather than calling it 1 degree, I'll say 0.5 degrees, and I'll press the space and see what happens. I'll stop this code first, and it became slower. But if I want this cat to rotate faster, I would simply say here, turn to, say, probably 3 degrees, and it goes really very quickly. I'll just go press the space bar and see that it's turning very quickly. So if we want this action to be taking place forever, and I'll show you one more interesting thing here, is I would want this cat to move 1 step and turn 1 step. So if I leave it here, it goes all the way from here to here. Let's see what's going to happen. Look at that. So it's traveling like that. It's moving forward, turning, moving forward and turning. It's not spinning at the same axis. If I remove this, it spins at the same place. But if I put this one here, it moves forward and it turns. If I wanted a bigger circle, all that I need to do is only to make this 5. I'll just say 5, press the space bar, just go here, press the space bar, see, it went all the way up there. So instead I'll say 2. Okay, I'll put it here, I'll put it back here, and I'll press space and 2. So it keeps rotating in that particular pattern, as you see. So that is about the forever loop. As the name suggests, anything would happen, whatever the code you put inside forever will occur, is going to happen forever until you press the red key here.